Senior College. This is Dee Edwards. I am the master coach and president of the Startup Business Factory, where I work with startup business owners to help them build a profitable and sustainable business. And I am also the senior tax professional of Accurate Tax Services. We have one located in the great city of Birmingham, Alabama. Now, that's not the reason why I'm here to talk to you guys today. Today, I am going to talk to you all about anger management and how I overcame being the angry Black woman. So do you mind if I share my story with you? When I began to look back over my life and to identify what made me become so angry, I began to realize that my anger came from the people that I trusted. How many of you all understand that no one else can make you upset, make you feel a certain way, but the people who are closest and dearest to you, it's like the people that you trust, people that you finally began to let your walls down, those who are supposed to protect you, those who are supposed to not allow certain things to happen to you. Those are the very ones sometimes that cause us to become angry, and we're not able at times to deal with the emotional side that come from that. I just remember growing up how one day my stepfather, he tried to rape me, and I was too ashamed. I think I was shocked. I couldn't believe that it could happen to me. So I didn't tell my mom. And he actually told my mom. And all my mom did was say, hug her and tell her that you're sorry. And from that moment on, that's when I began to build distrust for people in authority, whether that was male or female. And I had this mentality as if the world owed me everything. I felt like since nobody else was going to protect me, then it was my responsibility to protect myself. So I found myself becoming angry, becoming defensive. People could even say hey to me without me just going off. I never forget that one day, you know how you're driving the parking lot of Walmart? And it was this young lady. She saw me coming. I'm blowing my horn, but she decides that she's going to walk slow in front of my car, not in front of the angry Black woman. So y'all wouldn't believe what I did. I hit her. I did my car just like this against her. And I dared her to look at me or to say anything. And that's when I began to realize that the anger inside of me, that it was getting out of control. Because as much as we try to control things in our life, when we don't deal with certain issues in our life, they begin to spill over into other areas of our life. We become to make bad choices and decisions regarding our money, regarding our friends, regarding our life. We create destructive patterns in our life, letting men take advantage of us. We began to create this world. And when we look around, we wonder, how in the world did we get here? How many of you all can say my anger? And I had to begin to take myself on this healing journey to learning to forgive the people who hurt me the most. So when I was ready to heal, I was confused because the people around me, the people who hurt me, they weren't ready to take this journey along with me. So I remember that I have given my life to God, and I was going to go on this weekend encounter with God. And during this time, I was going to deal with all of those anger issues. I was going to deal with all of the frustrations from my past so that I can be this whole, strong, macho woman and be delivered from being this angry Black woman. And one of the people that I needed to forgive was my mother. And listen, when I share with you guys my testimony and my story, it's not so you all can look at my mother in a bad way. This is just my story. And I so happen have to talk about the people who have hurt me. So I had to deal with the anger and the hurt from my mom. And one of the assignments from the encounter weekend was that we had to write a letter to the person who hurt us, and we could choose to discard the letter, we could choose to give the letter to them, or we can decide that we're just going to talk to the person. So after encounter, while I'm still there, I decide, you know what, I'm about to call my mom and just let her know why I'm so angry at her. My mom couldn't even say hey to me without me being, what you speaking to me for? Because I was just that angry. And so I never forget when I called my mother and I began to just tell her all of the things that she had done to hurt me. And her response was nothing. She literally changed the subject. And it felt as if all of that anger, that unforgiveness, all of that came right back up again. Now I just spent the weekend getting delivered from that. And then all of a sudden, all of that began to come back up again. And how many of you all know that when you decide to walk in freedom, to walk in forgiveness, to deal with your anger issues, that sometimes things trigger you and it take you back. So not hearing the words that I needed to hear from my mom, it became a trigger for me. And I went back to that deep place again real quickly. I'm talking about she rejected me in that moment. And then in the next second, I was back to being the angry Black woman. And I'll never forget that my encounter leader at the time, she told me, D, just because you're ready to walk in your forgiveness doesn't mean that the people around you, they're ready. So what are you going to do about it? And in that moment, I had to make a choice. In that moment, I had to make a decision for my life. Am I going to allow her decisions to continue to affect me? Or am I going to be a big girl and take responsibilities of my emotions, of my feelings, and stop blaming and pointing the fingers at everyone? How many of y'all really understand that we have to take responsibility for our own actions, and we have to decide, make a choice, make a conscious effort in our minds that we are no longer going to allow people to control our emotions and our actions and our way of thinking and our mindset. Because what I've learned through my years of healing, did you hear what I said? I said through my years of healing. Because the healing is given to you the moment that you're ready for it. However, the process for complete healing is a daily choice. Because although I've been healed, those things still began to come up in my mind about the things that happened to me in my past. But I have to make a conscious effort real quick to decide where I'm going to place that anger. What am I going to do with the frustration? How am I going to deal with the hurt when it comes up? And see, for you, in order for you to deal with the anger, to deal with the unforgiveness, to deal with the unresolved issues, there are a few things that you have to do. And one of the things that I had to do in order for me to continue to walk in healing is to realize that I was asking somebody to give me something that they didn't realize I needed. Because although people hurt you, some people don't realize that the hurt that they're causing you hurt you because they are hurt. And I remember one day I was praying and the Lord had prompted me to ask my mom about her past. And I had never asked my mom about her childhood and things that happened to her. And I couldn't believe, and I don't even want to reveal that to you all because that's hers. But I couldn't believe some of the things that happened to her. And it had me to have a better understanding why she couldn't love me like I needed her to love me. And all of these years, I was angry with her. And I was asking her to give me something that she couldn't give because she didn't get it herself. And many of us were walking around with all of this anger and hurt from people who don't realize that they hurt you. Some of the people who have hurt you, they're dead and gone. Some of the people don't even care about you, but yet that anger and that unforgiveness, that resentment is still holding on to you. It's funny that when I began to evaluate my life, is that all of the negative things decide to hold on to me. The negative stuff want to follow me. I move this way, hear this negative stuff trying to follow me too. So I had to begin to take control of my life and stop pointing fingers and stop blaming everybody for the way that I feel. So there are a few things that I had to do. The first thing that I had to do was I had to identify the source of my anger. And that's what I want you to know today. That you have to identify the source of your anger. Identify the source of your anger. What is that trigger for you? Is it the way that people look at you? And if it's the way that people look at you, why do you feel that way? Where did that come from? Is it when people avoid your phone calls? Why? When people don't affirm you? Why? Identify what causes you to be angry and to identify the trigger. So, because of the way that I grew up and I dealt with the spirit of rejection and the spirit of abandonment, I have a hard time when I don't hear from my friends. I have a hard time when people leave me abruptly because I feel like I'm being abandoned all over again. I'm the type of person that, like, if somebody got an issue with me, I got to feel like I have to resolve it immediately. I got to find out what's wrong, how I can fix it, because I can't stand for people to walk out on me. And so I come to a place in my life where I realize what my triggers are. I realize what causes me to become angry. I realize what put me in a box. And so if you're ever going to get to a place where you walk free to be who you know that you're created to be, because most of the times when we're angry, we don't want to be angry. We hate being angry. We hate being angry. We get tired of ourselves. We get tired of fussing and complaining and being a pessimist. We get tired of just being mad all the time. We get tired of being frustrated and things bothering us. So most of us, we get tired of ourselves. And the reason why we get tired of ourselves is because we have not identified the very issue that caused us to be angry in the first place. And most of the times, the anger that we're experiencing is not from things that happened today, or is not from things that happened yesterday. The way you responded when somebody stepped on your toe, when somebody cut you off in the road. Oh my goodness. You know, when another occasion happened to me when I realized that, whoa, I'm going to have to control my anger, and deal with the issues of my past. I never forget, I was driving downtown and it was a car that was coming over on me. And so I started blowing the horn. I'm like, get over, I'm right here. And this guy, he became so angry at me that when I pulled up at the light, he got out of his car and he got in mine. This man was so angry that he got out of his car at a light, got in the car with me. And here I am, I'm trying to call the police. I think I was in such a panic, a shock, that I couldn't believe that this guy became so angry that he got out of his car. And he better been glad I was in the wrong car, because he wouldn't been able to walk back to his car. But I realized that I was a trigger for him, because he was like, oh, my mama, if it weren't for my mama, I'd kill you dead, B. I mean, like, I just could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. But although that was the way that he handled his anger, I can remember some times where I handled my anger wrong as well. And it went to that extent, but who cares if we don't learn how to handle our emotions when we are triggered? When people do things that remind us of the hurt and pain. Some of us can't even love. We can't even accept people into our lives. We want a spouse. We want to have a best friend. But our anger, our guards, our wall, the things from our past keep us from receiving what we desire so bad because we're angry. Come on, can you admit it? Can you finally say that I am an angry black woman? I'm an angry black man. I'm an angry white man, an angry white woman. It don't matter. Anger don't have a race, a culture. Anger don't care about that. Anger wants you to make choices and decisions that affect your entire life. Anger wants you to have choices and decisions that make you abandon your purpose, make you abandon who you've been called. Some of you all today By show of hands. Who want to be a business owner? By show of hands. Who want to have an amazing career? Who want to finish school? All of these things. You have goals, you have plans. But how many of you all understand that if you don't get control of your emotions, get control of your anger, that it will become the stumbling block that keep you from reaching your level of success that you've been destined to? When you look back over your life and when you look at where you are today, how many of you all really sometimes become frustrated and sad because you know you've been called to greater, but when you look around your life, it ain't measuring up. You know why? Because you hadn't dealt with the issues of your heart. And the issues of your heart, this is not just a one-time fix. This is something that you have to be committed to. It's almost like standing up in front of a crowd of people and say, you know what? I'm an alcoholic. I'm an angry person. My heart has been broken. Yeah, I have a hard time trusting people. I have a hard time walking in forgiveness. I have a hard time laying my guards down. I have a hard time allowing people into my life. And that's because what happened to you? So this is what I want you to do. I want you to just write down on a sheet of paper. What is that memory? What is that first memory that comes to mind that keep you from walking in total freedom? Identify that area in your life. Because although people, they did it to you, no one can make you feel a certain way unless you allow them to. Nobody can make you angry. No one can make you mad. Nobody can make you curse and fuss and do all of these things, create all of these destructive patterns, become an alcoholic, to be a functioning alcoholic, to be a pill popper. Oh, I know. Some of you guys got to take pills just to sleep at night, to have a peace of mind. You're taking pills because you're not identifying your real issue. So the pills cover it up. Some of you all can't even rest without having a few glasses of wine, popping bottles every day, snoring cocaine, smoking weed. And you think it's not a problem because you're able to function. You know, you're still able to go to work being an alcoholic. You're still able to go to work being a drug addict. You're still able to go to work with all of these things happening in your life. And because you're able to still do that, you haven't identified that you really have an issue. You really have a problem. So today I want you to identify whatever that issue is. And I want you to be committed to the heart work, not the hard work, because it is hard. But I want you to be committed to the heart work. Next, I want you to be true to your feelings. So when you find yourself becoming angry, listen, and I don't even want to preach to you guys, and I'm not trying to force my faith on you, but even the Bible said to be angry, but to sin not, and not to allow the sun to go down on your wrath. So anger is an emotion that's been given to us by the Creator. However, when we allow anger to control us, when we jump to anger instead of knowing I'm not really angry, I'm just disappointed. I'm not really angry, but I'm hurt. So you have to learn to be true to how you're really feeling. Anger is just your defense mechanism because you haven't put a voice to your true emotions. You don't know how to say to people, you know what? When you said this to me, it really made me feel a certain way. That's being true to your feelings. So when that emotion come up, so when after you have identified your triggered area, be true to your emotions and to your feelings about how it really made you feel. And then 3, I don't want you to respond immediately to it. I don't want you to respond. I want you to take a woosah moment. I want you to breathe in, breathe out probably about 3 times. I want you to write down your feelings. I want you to establish some type of boundaries to keep you from responding immediately, because that initial response will get somebody double slapped. That initial response, it will hurt somebody. The initial response will have your butt in jail facing murder charges or attempt to murder. That initial response is not a good response. So you have to learn that when you feel angry in the moment, initially, take a woosah moment. Whew. This is you taking control of your feelings. This is you really identifying the true emotions. This is you asking yourself, am I really angry or am I just bothered? Am I just irritated? Because what we find in life is that when we are not true to our feelings, everybody get it. Oh, I bet the people in your household, they really get it. Your children, they're really getting it. Your spouse, they're really getting it. Your loved ones, they're really getting the heat of it. You find yourself mistreating the people that you know got your back because you haven't been true to your feelings. So today I want you to be true to your feelings. And then I want you to create accountability for yourself. Okay, so you get to that moment in that place when you really want to curse somebody out. It's okay, but just don't curse that person out. I need you to find someone that you can be true and say, you know what, this so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And that person that you're venting to, they have to be mature enough to handle your vent where it doesn't change, where you don't change their opinion of the person that you're talking to or talking about. And let me tell you this, because when my friend called me to vent, I have to be like, wait a minute, she's just venting to me. Don't you start having no attitude with this person because she upset with them. Don't you start looking at this person another way because they're upset with them. So I have to make sure that my maturity kick in. Okay? Because I am their accountability partner when they're angry, when they want to just jump over the cliff. So from today's video, I hope you really have identified in yourself and admitted to yourself. Maybe you need to admit to others that you really do have an anger issue. And it's showing up in your attitude. It's showing up on your job. It's showing up in your church. It's showing up in your household. It's showing up amongst your friends and family. And you're hurting people. Because you know you do hurt people, right? So I know you can only identify what other people have done to you. But wait a minute. I want you to take a breather and realize that you've hurt some people too. You said some things that you weren't supposed to. And just like you're waiting on other people to apologize to you, there's some people that you need to be apologizing for and to. And what I realize is that sometimes you don't even have to tell people you're sorry, you apologize. Sometimes all they need to see is your actions changing. Your actions just need to change. Change your actions. Change the way you respond. Change the way you react to certain people. And even if they're not ready to say they're sorry towards you or to apologize for the hurt, harm, and danger that's come to you because of their actions, be okay with that. And realize that you have to walk in forgiveness. You have to let some things go. You got to compartmentalize your emotions, your feelings. And when they come up, you have to figure out where you're going to place them and then not allow them any longer to control your life. So again, identify your triggers or what area in your life that caused you to be so angry. Realize that no one can make you feel a certain way unless you allow them to. Be true to your feelings. If you're feeling a certain way, pull the person aside. And listen, everything don't need to be addressed because it's just you in your feelings. Check yourself, boo. Examine yourself. Did he or she really do this to me? Or is it that I'm just in my feelings about the way I feel about something? Create accountability. That accountability can be with a journal. It can be with a person. It can be typing. It can be your woosah moment. Create accountability that you need so that you'll no longer be that angry person. And last but not least, when that emotion come up for you, don't respond immediately, because you're bigger than that. You're better than that. Well, I am Dee Edwards. I am the master coach and president of the Startup Business Factory. I hope that this message will help you to live bigger, live bolder, live better. Be sure to follow me on social media, Dee Edwards. You can also look up the Startup Business Factory. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this video. Have an amazing day. And to know that greater is coming for you, is chasing you. But you're really in control of your own destiny. Have an amazing day. Toodles.